Hi, everyone. Welcome to Aerie. Thank you all for coming. I'm Jill. I work in Aerie marketing, and one of the things that we wanted to do in this back-to-school season was really bring Aerie Real out with something we're calling Aerie Realisms. And so if you look around the store, you'll see them all over the place. Pow when you want it for a really great push-up bra. And so we were excited to have a real talk with a realism, which is Aerie Real is making new friends. And so we brought you all here so we can talk about navigating friendships. It's really hard as an adult to make friends. So we're going to talk to our friends. We have two of our role models here, and they brought their besties, which is really exciting. So we have Iskra and her bestie, Natalie, and then we have Allie and Hunter. So thank you guys for coming, and welcome our friends.
Can I quickly interject and just say this is Jill's first time moderating, and she's killing it already.
I feel the love in here, so thank you guys. All right, so an easy question. We'll start with you two. How did you guys become friends?
This is easy.
You go.
Natalie asked me out on a date to Tao for dinner.
And she was late. She was 45 minutes late, and I was like, who is this girl? She's so late. And then when she turned up, I was like, okay, she's cool. We can be friends. That's fine. So that's how we met, and it was about 6 years ago.
So how, though, did you meet in order to ask on a date?
We had a mutual friend.
Okay.
We were both
so
on
it was
our
a
own.
blind date.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when you move to New York, especially, it's quite an isolating, lonely place, and a lot of people move here from somewhere else. So everyone's on their own. So you got to make your friendship groups. You got to make your family. So I think it's pretty good because you end up just putting yourself out there a bit more. And especially I feel like within the model community, you know, it's a very, especially back then 6 years ago, it was a much smaller community. Yeah. There was only a handful of girls. So you would kind of already know everyone's name, and it would just kind of be like, why not make friends?
Yeah.
So.
And here we are.
Yeah, we should have many shared interests, which is good.
That's awesome. All right,
we live together, by the way, as well.
Oh, yeah, so that makes you real tight. How about it? So what about you guys?
So, gosh, Allie and I met probably, 3 years ago originally?
Yes, but we literally became obsessed with each other.
During Super Bowl.
Yeah, last February.
Okay.
Yeah,
And,
so this is...
I don't think we go a day without texting.
Yeah.
FaceTiming, all of that good stuff. I was just like, oh my God, I'm obsessed. I need to be with her always.
The feeling is mutual. We actually were in a car, and we were just, I don't even know, we were just making each other laugh and just being silly, and we were...
Manifesting our dreams together.
But we were laughing at the same time and saying the most ridiculous things that we wanted to manifest, but actually that we really do want to manifest, but it's kind of might be a little unrealistic, but we're still thinking about it, and so then we just became obsessed with each other.
That's awesome. So do you guys still feel like that's what your conversations are about, or are you done with what you were manifesting in February?
Much deeper now, I feel like, but we're still manifesting, always manifesting.
I think we definitely make jokes, but then we're also we have our serious talks too. And Hunter just got married, so I was at her wedding.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was so fun. Yeah, so it's interesting because, like you said, it can be hard to make friends when you're older. But I have found, I'm 25, but I've made more friends in the last year-ish, better friends than I've ever had in my whole life. And I think sometimes the older you get, the more you learn sort of the quality. It's not the amount of friends, it's really... And I think you pay attention to how you feel after you hang out with some friends. Some people make you feel insecure, do others uplift you? And so... actually working with Aerie, I've met so many amazing friends, all of these people up here. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, I feel like Aerie has a way of bringing people together. So one of my goals for tonight is that you guys who may have come with your friends meet a new friend. I think that could be really awesome. Okay, so what kind of a friend are you? So what's most important for you to share with your friends? What do you need from them in return? I'll start with you, Hunter.
For me, I think it's most important to be really authentic and be really honest with your girlfriends. I think that there's some friends where it's very surface level and you kind of you can't really dive deep in and talk to and trust. I always make sure that my friends know that it's a no judgment zone. So you tell me whatever is on your mind, whatever you're feeling, there's zero judgment from me. And I kind of look for the same things in my friends. Allie's definitely one of those people I can talk about anything with. Just being authentic and true to yourself. I think that is the key, not only to just friendships, relationships, every part of your life. Authenticity is key.
Yeah.
I would say that there's been times in my life where I've had friendships that might have been a bit exhausting or emotionally draining, and I'd say finding those girlfriends who uplift you, like Natalie is just like a ray of sunshine. But then we also have our days where we don't talk, and that's cool too, you know? And I think that we're in a really good place of just knowing what each other needs and it not having to be a forced thing. Like, are you okay? Are you, like, we just know. And it's hard to really know how to explain that, but I think that is just over time listening to somebody, giving them space, and it not being about you. Because I think a lot of validation in friendships sometimes can be like, oh, I made her feel better, or I did this, or don't make it about you all the time. Just listen to her, give someone the space.
I think it's important to have boundaries as well, to set them, know where you stand with them, and just communicate. Our communication's great, and we know what each other are thinking, when we want to eat, when we want to eat, where we want to go. So yeah, just to be genuine and have those boundaries.
Yeah, I totally agree with what all of them have said. I also have found for myself, it's been super interesting for me just really learning a lot about myself and about my friends. I think we're really living in a time where everyone's really honest about what they're going through, which is super important and incredible. I find that a lot of times some of my friends will come to me when they have something that they're going through, and so I've found I'm definitely someone that puts a lot of pressure on myself where I want to help them and want to be there for them, but at the same time, you know, I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert in any way, but I've also learned that sometimes being a good friend is making sure that you take that time for yourself, because if I'm listening to my friend who's going through something hard and I'm exhausted and I'm just have been traveling everywhere and I'm ready to fall asleep, I'm not able to be the friend that I want to be. But sometimes even asking your friend to come over 30 minutes later than you had planned, and like taking that time for yourself, whether it's taking a nap or going for a workout or doing 30 minutes of yoga or meditation, whatever it is you need, it can totally change your whole entire mood and your whole entire day, and you can just be more mentally aware so that you can better listen to them.
That's great. So we've talked a little bit about how adult friendships are just totally different from when you're a kid. You know, when you're in school, you're kind of forced together, but once you're out of school, how do you make those friendships? And it's hard to maintain those friendships when you're out of a space where you're forced together. So what's your strategy to maintain just friendship in general? It doesn't have to be with the people that are here, but kind of with all of your friends, especially because all of you travel a ton. If you follow them on social media, you know they're all over the place. Hunter, your family's the whole way in California. So,
you know, I think the biggest thing for me, we're so blessed to live in a time with things like FaceTime. Like, Allie lives in Boston, I'm here in New York, so like we can connect that way. I can connect with my family that way. And always making time for people. Like, people always used to tell me, like, Beyonce has time for her friends. Like, we all gotta make time for our friends. You know what I mean? Like, we can take 5-10 minutes out to text them and make their day, or to pick up a phone call and talk to them. I think that it's really important to do that, and make that one of your priorities. You know, I think that we oftentimes get really caught up with the everyday work or school or whatever it may be, and we forget to check in on our friends. And I think even 5 minutes, you know, text that person back and see how they're doing.
I like to do a mass group text.
Oh, and it's so, I hate group texts. She loves them. So my phone's like ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, what has Iskra done now? And it's like, dinner tomorrow at 7, 25 people.
And then like 3 show up. That's my strategy. I'm like, right, hit the masses and then see, and just give everyone the opportunity. That's generally, I just am like, right, we all need to get together. Let's see what happens. And usually it ends up being the best nights ever. Like Friday night, we had a games night, and there was 10 of us. It was nearly 12, but it was 10 of us that all got together.
That was good.
Quality time, games, food. So yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good at, well, I'm not great at texting back, but what I tend to do is then suddenly do a group text and be like, hey, need to make up for not texting anyone back. But I would rather do that. I would rather like make time like in the actual day to spend time with my people than be able to text back every 5 minutes. Like that for me is unrealistic, and it's not good for my mental health either. I don't like being on my phone all throughout the day. And I use it very much like a work thing, and then I like being with my people. And my friends know that.
Yeah, so my family live in Australia. My friends are in London, so it's 2 different time zones.
Yeah,
so I just make sure I schedule time in. My phone is on. I always have my phone on me. Iskra gets mad at me because I never answer her phone calls, but everyone else's I do.
She's always busy. She's always engaged.
So
But no,
mum-
it's good.
Yeah, so my family are in Australia, so just about making that time,
Yeah.
scheduling out 5-10 minutes, like Hunter said, just to really connect and just, have a great time on the phone or FaceTime or Skype even. My grandma loves Skype, so she's always calling me on that. Yeah.
Again, I totally agree with what they all said. I also have learned this. On the other side is what I've learned is you don't have to be friends with everyone. And I think that has been really helpful for me. And just really keeping the good people in your life. And I also love the quote that it's something like you can't be what you can't see. And I want to be around people that inspire me to be a better version of myself. And I think you have friends for different reasons. Some friends you go to if you're having a hard time with something and you want advice. Maybe, a guy doesn't call you back and you call another friend who has good advice. My friend's mom randomly has like the best relationship advice ever. So I always will call my friend and be like, is your mom there? Because I just need to talk to her. But it's just, you have friends for different reasons. Other friends you just know you're going to be goofy and silly and just have a good time with. And I just think that's sort of a cool thing to know as well. But then to not, as Chris said, don't take it personal if someone's not getting back to you. And I feel like me and you are really good with that of just, sometimes it takes us like 2 weeks to schedule a FaceTime, even though we've been texting, and it's nothing personal. Yeah, and we fit it in. And, everybody, like you've had a crazy past couple of weeks, and it's about being happy for your friends and understanding that and not feeling like it's something that you did or it has something to do with you. It's just about recognizing that if your friend's not getting back to you, maybe they're just going through a hard time or they're just trying to, value their own space, whatever it is. But yeah, I think it's just important to also see the other person's point of view.
Yeah, that's great advice. So, Allie, I'll go with you for this one so you can't get stuck at the end. Have you ever had to break up with a friend, and how did you navigate that?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Well, I would say over the last couple of years, I think that I've really figured out who my real friends are. So I'm trying to think if I've ever broken up with someone, with a friend. I've definitely been disappointed with some of my friends' reactions, but I will say, again, when I say maybe your friend's going through a hard time, oftentimes when you're going through something and you're honest about it, sometimes your friend, if they're not supportive about it, it might mean that they might be going through the same thing and they're just not ready to deal with it. And I think that that's something that I've really learned is instead of being mad at the other person, learning to have compassion for them and recognizing that, hoping that they're going to heal soon and going to come to terms with what happened to them. Because sometimes the most critical people of, if someone's outspoken about something, a lot of times I've found they can actually relate to it and they're just not ready to cope with it themselves. So it's about just hoping that they're going to get the healing and the support that they need to.
That's great.
Oh, yes. I've had a few breakups. I'm a brutally honest friend. And I feel like that should be a disclaimer when you get involved in a friendship with me. Like, I'm going to tell you the stuff you need to hear, not what you want to hear. One of my friends, Alex, is nodding in the audience. We have a mutual best friend, and, there's times where I haven't really been in tears, she's been in tears, and it was a supportive, constructive conversation, but it's very hard because people have different personalities. She's an Aerie, she's very fiery, loves to go get at it. And sometimes you just really have to sit people down, but that makes a friendship stronger, in my opinion. If you're able to do that, if you're able to have those real, no BS conversations and say, like, this is what I'm feeling, this is how you feel. But there's also times where you have to realize, do I need to step away? Is this not working? Like a partner relationship, friendships can be the same, and everyone grows, you go in different directions, and you need different things from relationships at different points. So, yeah, I've had a very close friend that I lived with, and that was actually shocking because it was like 5 years, and then all of a sudden, a lot of things happened, and I had to ask her to leave the house because honestly, it's harder than a boyfriend girlfriend from my own experience, because you just don't see it coming sometimes, you know? And you can't, I don't know, it's just such a shame you have so many memories with someone, but all I can say is it opens up your heart and your mind and your soul and your space for more people to come in who are gonna uplift you and bring more light and love into your life. So there are definitely times where you have to check in with yourself and be like, is this healthy for both of us? And then it's your life. Sometimes you have to step away and it can be the best thing for both people.
Yeah, I mean, these two girls basically just said it, hit the nail on the head. I think it is so important to check in with yourself. I've definitely had friend breakups where, you know, even if it's something as like someone coming to me for advice and I give it to her and then she just does something completely different.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, this is exhausting. And or, you know, as two of you grow, you may not have the same values as friends. You may not have the same morals as friends as you grow up. And I think it's important to also check in with each other like, hey, is this still something that like you're passionate about? Or I want someone to uplift me and make me feel good and I will do the same for you. And I want to be supportive. I want to have victories and have you by my side and I do the same for you. And when it doesn't lead up to that, it gets really hard to, you know, it is, for me, it's always been harder than breaking up with a significant other because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is someone who's known my heart, my soul, like it's just a different connection. Yeah. But sometimes you really do have to check in with that because your mental health is more important than anything.
Yeah. And it can shock you when you feel like you know your best friend and then suddenly you feel like you don't. Like that can literally happen where, you know, we were living in the same house and like, if I heard noises downstairs, I'd avoid that person. I was like, but this was meant to be my best friend. It's very bizarre how it can suddenly happen. And also, as your lifestyle changes, maybe you're going in one direction and the other person's going somewhere else. Like you said, morals and values. Also, things you like to do. Something as simple as like, I really like staying at home. And we like binge watching TV and eating and board games. And you know, we've had friends in our lives that like to party and drink and do other types of things. And it just tends to happen that they will kind of find that group that, you know, they can do that with. And we find our group that you can do that with. And you can still come together. It doesn't mean you can't be friends, but I just don't put pressure on yourself to have a friend that wants to do everything just like you know?
Natalie, you have anything to add?
I think sometimes we feel like we have to stay friends with people because of memories, when actually it's okay to go your own way and you'll find your way back, and that's absolutely fine. I moved from London to New York and my friends are all back home, but we have this thing where we do catch up, we do talk. If I do lose contact, that's okay because we'll always find our way back together. And not to feel, I think sometimes we feel guilty about losing people, but actually you have to sometimes take care of yourselves and, like you said, mental health, and it's okay to say bye to people if it's not working out anymore. And yeah, I think it can be hard, but sometimes unfortunately it's part of life, and as you grow you lose people, but then you gain other people. Like I met Ali 2 years ago and it's lovely. So yeah, lovely.
That was all
A new
Very
friend right
English.
there.
She's very supportive of my garden.
Oh yeah.
She is.
She loves it.
So, you know, you have Philip now. Hunter, you just got married. Allie has a garden. How do you balance romantic relationships with your friendships? Hunter, I'll let you start.
Sorry, what was the question?
How do you balance romantic relationships with your friendships?
Gosh, so this is one thing when my husband and I first started dating, we had a conversation about this because I have to have my girl time and he has to have his guy time, and I think that that's very healthy. I've been in relationships where I wasn't allowed to really like go out and have fun. It was more like, oh, you're not staying home with me, and that was really unhealthy and not good for myself. So we each have a night that we're like, okay, listen, I'm gonna go out with the boys, I'm gonna go watch a movie with the girls. I think it's important to make those times because it makes your relationship healthy. You know what I mean? Like if you're just constantly with each other, you're gonna drive yourself nuts. So I always make sure that I make time for my friends.
Natalie, what?
I'm just saying, I've been single all my life, actually. So.
Natalie's like, I'm always with my girl.
This question.
That's okay too.
It's because she won't share food. Like literally, she's gone on dates where she's eaten half a burrito, gone on the date and then thought, oh, I don't really like him, I don't want to share my burrito, sent him home and then finished her burrito. Like, I don't know anyone else like that in my life.
So these two can, you lot can answer this one, sorry.
I definitely feel like I was bad in high school at doing that. Yeah. It was like, boyfriend was everything, and you don't even realise you're doing, but you've got your blinders on and you're so obsessed. Natalie might still think that I'm the same. I know I'm a lot more balanced. But I also know that I'm with a partner, again, who supports me, who's like, go out and be with your friends. Because I've been with someone who I couldn't have boyfriends, as in guy friends. And I'm like, I knew them longer than you. Like, what's the problem? So I think just having trust in a relationship is very important. And just, yeah, check in with yourself, because if you have someone that isn't letting you hang out with your friends, that's not okay. It's not healthy. You definitely are going to need to talk to your girlfriends about some things that you can't talk to your partner about. So I definitely think there's a balance there for sure. And I definitely have a boyfriend phone voice, which they all tell me.
Oh. Yeah. The phone rings. Hi, baby. Who is that next door?
Okay, yeah. Just teases me for that.
My bridesmaid, her name is Janessa. I actually lost her as a friend when I was 16, and I had like tunnel vision with my boyfriend, and I was like, oh my God, he's my everything, I'm gonna marry him. Like, I just thought that this was it. And she was like, what, like, I've lost you, like, I can't hang out with you anymore, you know, like, I can't, like, you're always, every time I message you, you're like, I'm with this guy. Yeah. And I lost her as a friend. She broke up with me. I was the one being broken up with, and rightfully so. And thankfully we reconnected and we're like this again, because we just knew that was going to happen. But yeah, I was the one being broken up with, and I realized that, and I was like, wow, that was an eye-opening experience for me to never let that happen again. Because it wasn't worth it to me.
Yeah, the guy I was with was a douchebag, and I wasted way too many years on him. And if I had listened to my friends, instead of but he also made me push them further away. He knew what he was doing. And you've got to check in as well, because if they're manipulating you to isolate you from your friendship group, that can often be a way of them then controlling you. Mm-hmm. So it is actually super important to keep in with your girlfriends and be open to their opinions, even if it's not something you want to hear. You just do have to listen. And if you have girlfriends that you trust and love, they're probably giving you good advice.
And Allie, for your garden, do you make time for your girlfriends?
Yes, all my girlfriends actually do want to come over and see it. I do have to say, I would not date a guy unless he appreciated my garden. That's a big priority of mine. Yeah, if they're not, they have to appreciate it, otherwise it's not.
Right, done deal.
Yeah, but I also would say 100% agree with what you guys are saying. I have found it really interesting also, though, I'm very aware of what you guys are saying, and I think I've seen it also with some of my friends where, you don't get to hang out with them alone anymore, because every time you're like, oh, I'll bring my boyfriend. And you're like, I really enjoy your boyfriend, but I'd love to have that one-on-one time with you as well. So I think that's a really hard thing to say that to your friend, because you don't want to sound unsupportive of them being in a relationship, and you want to, it's an interesting balance where it is true sometimes when people do get in a relationship, they just want to be with them all the time, and if you want to hang out with them, then the guy comes too all the time, and so it's sometimes really hard to confront your friend, or if you don't like their boyfriend, that's another really fun one to deal with, because you also don't want to sound like you're jealous, or it's really hard, because if your friend is so happy, but I've been with a couple on a date where it's been a couple of times where you just pick up on different things that they say that you're like, are you hearing the same thing I'm hearing? Or it's just sort of it's very hard to do that when you see your friend is so happy, and you don't know how they're going to take it. But as you said, honesty is very important. But we're all trying to figure out, how to be the best friends and how to go about that. And sometimes when you try to be honest and try to be a good friend, the other person might not see it that way, and that's really hard.
It's great. All right, we're going to do a flash round, but first I want you guys to dig deep in your souls, because we're going to have a Q&A as soon as we're done with flash round. All right, this is fast. We'll start with you, Iskra. Okay. What is the most fun memory that you've had with Natalie?
Oh, that's so easy. We went to the water park last week, and I wish I had video footage to show
Let
you
me
all.
tell you, it was
It
some
was the best
scary stuff.
5 seconds of our life.
It was so awful. I was like,
We actually do have video
There was
footage
a
of that.
lot of screaming.
But basically, it drops 4 stories, and it's 4 people in a dinghy. And so you drop, and then you go up, and then you swing back. So anyway, actually our 2 friends over there, Miles and Markel, were also there to witness this moment. And so we hear this weird scream, right? Not like a, this is amazing, like a, I'm gonna die. Yeah. And then literally this lady comes flying off, so she's no longer on the raft. She's holding onto the handle, and the raft is just taking her up and down, and then she just gives up. And then she's still holding onto the raft.
And we were next, so you can imagine my face getting on this ride.
Yeah, she was okay, but it was like one of those you've been framed moments.
Yeah.
What's it called over here? It's not called you've been framed, is it?
Funny
Ridiculousness
videos.
or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
like the
Everyone was like,
videos.
oh my gosh, did anyone get footage? We were dying
So
laughing.
then we were next. So the whole time
We
on this
were
ride,
next.
I was just praying. I was like, please forgive me. Just let me get on this ride.
We feel really bad for laughing so hard, but now let's hope we survive.
So, Natalie, would you agree that that is your most fun memory, or do you have a different one?
Yeah, I love Celine Dion, and it's going to surprise me for New Year's of tickets. For me, that was incredible. I
flew
cried.
to Vegas.
I knew every single word.
She didn't know every
I
single
screamed.
word.
So for me, that was
She cried
memorable.
the whole way back from Vegas to
I was
England.
on the plane, and I was crying, and the lady said, "Are you okay? Have you been dumped?" I was like, "No, I saw Celine Dion. I'm just so thankful." He was like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, that was my
really
my
special.
memory.
Okay.
Recently too.
Amazing.
Natalie?
Oh, my favorite memory, I have 2, because I'm just going to pick 2.
That's okay.
Your wedding, because you
mine
were
too,
so
yeah.
you were so happy, and it was so sweet to see you so happy. And just another piece of advice, I think, when you are really close with someone, like I trust Hunter, and so I've become close with some of her friends. I talked to Geneva on the phone for like 2 hours yesterday.
She told me.
She told you. So yeah, one of her like best friends, Geneva, we've become friends, and we just like met at her wedding, and it was just like from across the room, like we just were like, like it was just like out of a movie, but for friendship. It was so great. It was so awesome. And yeah, it's just nice when you already trust a friend and then they have a friend. It's sort of, if you just meet somebody on the street, it's a little bit, you might get that feeling and go with your gut, but sometimes you still have to have your guard up. But when it's already someone you trust, it's nice. And then in February, when we were in the car at night, we were just like, the driver just probably thought we were so bizarre.
Crazy, yeah.
But we were just going, like manifesting a million things and the most bizarre things, and we were like almost peeing our pants laughing. And I was like, I don't know where you've been all my life, but that was like the most fun car ride ever.
The night you fell in love. I
Yeah,
love
we
that.
literally fell in love, yeah.
So, Hunter, what is your favorite tradition with any of your friends? The ones here, the ones far away?
Gosh, Christmas cookies. Every year we do a Christmas cookie party. I
That
go
sounds
back home
amazing.
to LA and we make Christmas cookies.
That's
I have all my
great.
friends over, so you're gonna have to come out.
Oh my God, I'm gonna come.
Yeah.
I'm there.
What's your favorite tradition with your friends?
Ooh, that's a very good question. To be honest, I literally feel like I'm experiencing a new life for the first time now.
Yeah.
Because my whole life, I didn't really have a ton of time for hanging out with friends
Sure.
because I was like lived at the gym. And so it's been so fun now just to hang out with my friends and to just have more fun, because when I was training, it was even just like on a Saturday night, I was like, I've got it, it's 9:30, I have to be back in bed. And so now I think it's just like being at home in my sweatpants with my friends and just like really just hanging out and laughing and just, eating dessert. I got donuts with some of my friends the other night, and we were just laughing and being silly, and just when we're goofy, that's when it's the
That
most
sounds
fun.
awesome.
Who doesn't have donuts?
You just skipped Natalie.
How rude.
I was going to do us together.
Okay, go on, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
Every year we go on a girls' holiday.
Oh yeah, that's lovely.
Clearly she gets so excited about it. Maldives.
And again?
And then it's we're both going to be 30 next year, so stay tuned.
For a real girls' trip.
Because the Maldives
Like the
is not
movie.
good enough for 30 in their world, apparently. That's okay. All right.
You can do
Iskra,
one
what
now
is the
too.
best advice a friend has ever given you?
That's a really good one. I think actually Natalie's given me some pretty good advice, even if it's not direct. She hypes herself up all the time. Like to the point where we are in airports and you know the crappy pictures they take of you when you're doing a passport. Oh my goodness, I look amazing. Wait, I know you have to, can I keep it though? I know you need to take it, but can I have it back after you've done and I'm like, wow, okay. I love it. It's just so much positive energy all the time. Hype yourself up.
Yeah.
So it's definitely good to know that, like, do more of that.
Yeah.
So that's rubbed off on me. So thanks, Nat.
I have not. Can I come back? Can you come back?
Absolutely, Allie. Best
Loads of good
advice a friend has ever given you.
Oh, hang on. How to make great omelets. That is the best advice you've ever given me.
Not cheese toasties.
I'll go with that.
That's yours. Cheese toasty from Jill. Omelets. How to make the best one.
That's great advice. Okay.
We'll get you through life.
I know.
Allie, Hunter? I know, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I would say don't sell yourself short.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Simple, but right on the money.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time picking one thing, but I just think sometimes just when something's upsetting you, knowing it's okay just to talk to your friends and talk it out. And just hearing what they have to say and just knowing that they're there for you I can't think of like one specific thing, but I'll think on it and let you know.
I'm also thinking because we're close to our moms. Like
Yes,
I know one of the best pieces of advice my mom's got, who's one of my best friends, is if you don't ask, you don't get. And so I will always ask, and I will always try, and I'll always just be a bit cheeky because most of the time it works. I would say 99% of the time it works. Like
We were texting about that a
We
couple
were.
months ago. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you remember. We were
Yeah.
texting about that, yeah. But you have to ask for what you want, and the worst that they'll say
so
is
that's
no.
good advice you gave to me actually. Yours was like
Thank
more work related, but it was really
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Were you talking? Oh yeah, mine was work related
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
All right. I hope you guys have been really thinking of some good questions.
Hands are flying up.
I know.
Oh, we do.
Do we have the handheld mic? Great. Right here.
Love that energy.
Okay, so hi, I'm Liza. Thank you guys
Hi,
so much
Liza.
for coming and sharing all your words of wisdom. I completely agree with everything you started this discussion off saying. I do think it is very challenging for women to make friends in this city, and so about a year and a half ago, I actually started a brunch club for women in the city that are looking to make new friends and connections. And so I host about 1 to 3 events a month, and I match women up into groups, and we go around the city to all the cool spots. Shameless plug, it's NYC Brunch Squad if anybody wants to check it out.
Following Liza, guys.
You're all
She's got
welcome to
it.
come. But my question is, every month, I get a handful of emails from girls who really want to come, but they seem very nervous, whether it's showing up at the event alone and not knowing anyone else in the room. And so I do make a point of like telling them that I'm going to be there, and especially if I know that you're a little bit nervous, I'll be sure to seat you with people that I know will be extra friendly, and of course I'll be there to be friendly with you as well. But do you have any advice for ways that I could just make girls feel a little bit more comfortable kind of getting out of their shell and coming into a room where they maybe don't know anyone, but at least from the experience from all the ones I've done so far, they leave with tons of friends. And so I just don't know how to like make them see that before they actually step into the room. So do you guys
I
have
think a
any-
little welcome email or a little note, it could be handwritten by you that you send to them, and it can literally just like, hey, I know you might be feeling a little bit nervous, we're all feeling like this, and then just have a relatable story, or even you could have like a little caption, a review from someone who's been to one of the brunches saying, I was nervous, but after coming away from it. Because I think that's what most of the time we just want to feel like we're not alone in how we're feeling. And that's usually where the fear comes from. It's like, oh, I'm the only one that's going to be going bright red like a tomato, or being nervous, or like having sweaty armpits. But it's like everyone is like that. So.
Yeah, I actually started a workout club thing called Babe Body, and it's all about having every woman come and work out, and like me and my girlfriend who do it, we work out in our sports bras and shorts, and like rolls are out, cellulite showing, like, but our feedback as well is I'm really nervous to go. So I tend to take that time to have a one-on-one personal conversation with them and be like, I totally get it. I am right there with you. I was one of the nervous ones too, but just know that like taking this leap of faith and like getting a little bit uncomfortable, you'll find that comfort zone there. And we're all like a really great supportive group of women, and just, reaffirming that I think is really important.
Do you have videos maybe even? Like, yeah.
There's like photos and videos.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's awesome that you do that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Do we have any more questions? Oh,
Ooh.
2 at the same time. I love it.
Hi, I'm Megan. I
Hi,
just
Megan.
moved here from Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm living in Brooklyn.
Thanks for trekking out.
Yeah.
Thanks. What do you guys have for like advice for like chasing your dreams? Like I moved here and I want to pursue fashion design.
Yeah.
Like I want to be like the next Tommy Hilfiger and
Yeah.
everything. But what do you guys like advise to do to like network and get in those higher level positions?
Listen, the fact that you're here and you've shown
It's
up for
amazing,
yourself,
yeah.
I want to give you a round of applause because that first step is always the hardest, you know? And admitting to how big your dreams can be. I mean, we've got a future Olympic gymnast right here on the front row, you know, and Ali would have been like that one day as well. Like the opportunities are endless. You know, you got your visa this year. So I would say that vision boarding, that was personally manifesting with your friends, vision boarding. I don't know if you have a vision board, but I found it very productive. I also do yearly and 6 monthly check-ins of like where I'm at, headspace-wise, career-wise, relationships-wise, and check in and make sure that I'm just always progressing and moving forward. Even if I have a failure, it's like I can find something positive from that failure because there's going to be a lot of failures. But the great thing about this city is there's the energy that there's millions of people who are also all trying to make it. And so I would feed off of that energy, connect with people, go to those brunches. You don't know who you're going to meet. I've done shoots and then I found out that it's someone I met for 3 years before said, I met this cool girl, Iskra, you should. 3 years later, you know. So the more you get out there, New York's that city. When I first came here, I was out every day, every night. I was cold calling, I was contacting loads of photographers online. Obviously, it's a slightly different industry, but reach out to anyone who inspires you and learn from them. Definitely, sorry, I'm going on a bit long here. Mentors are also important, and you'd be surprised, even people who you think are super high up and don't have time for you, actually mentoring is something that's very valuable for them too. So don't be scared to reach out to people and say, is there any chance you would be my mentor? I'm trying to get into this industry, I'd love to learn from you, and it's humbling for them. So I said a lot there, but hopefully there's something that...
Just don't take no for an answer, just keep going.
Yeah.
And also it can be tough, you can get knockbacks, but that's absolutely fine. But also on my phone goes off every night at 9 p.m. and it says, what am I thankful for today? And it just makes every day seem amazing. Even if it's been bad or a shoot's not been great or I've not got a casting, that list that goes up at 9 p.m, I'm thankful for the food, I'm thankful for just a great day, and it can just make your energy seem so much, you know, enlightened, even if you've had a bad day, because things aren't easy all the time, but you know, you'll get there. Just keep them going.
I would recommend, I found, you know, a lot of people say life is all about connections, and I think it's obviously about working really hard, and I think sometimes, you know, you need a little bit of, sometimes in certain circumstances, you might need a little bit of luck to get to where you want to be, but I think it's really important to not be afraid to meet people and to ask people for advice. You know, if you do have the opportunity and you run into some designer, don't be afraid to go up to them and to tell them who you are, and it might be nerve-wracking, but like the worst that they're going to do is blow you off. And that is tough, like the fashion industry. I mean, I've been blown off by plenty of designers. Like it's just, it is, but then you also have some designers that are so kind, and that's really how it is in any industry. You know, my brother is really struggling with the same thing. He wants to be a hockey GM, and it's very hard to kind of get into that world, and I think it's probably similar in the fashion space, and I think just being okay with everybody gets told no, and sometimes getting told no is, it's gonna lead you to somewhere else. So do not get discouraged, and you're obviously very young, so to not think that it's gonna happen overnight, and that's okay, because nothing happens overnight. None of us got here overnight, and I think that's sort of one of the harder things with this generation with social media is I think people forget that like not everyone was like, you don't become the CEO overnight. And I think sometimes social media really, that's one of my biggest issues with it is like, for me, going to the Olympics, like, I trained every single day. Like when people in 6th grade were going to the school dances, I was at gymnastics practice. I worked really hard for it. It does not happen overnight. So just realizing that and, you know, taking that experience and learning from it, but really not being afraid to make those connections. Doesn't matter how big or how small they are.
We could be here all night. I think it's really important. These are really good conversations. I also think that your journey won't look like someone else's. So even if you see someone who's doing exactly the same thing or wants the same thing and they're doing this, you have to keep your blinders on of your own path and not compare your own. And also, it's not going to be perfect either. Like, my career has been like, da-da-da-da. Like, I've literally done photo shoots that were just awful, like god awful, like embarrassing. I'm painted green, I'm Shrek from Fiona. It's online still. And yet, I can then, nowadays I'm doing editorials, I'm on the cover of this magazine. It's like, listen, you got to take that stuff and you are not above any of it. And it will make you the person you are today. Sometimes the harder it is to get somewhere, the more you are rewarded when you do. So enjoy the struggles in Brooklyn. It's gonna pay off, and make memories while you're doing it,
Yeah. I think that's great.
And everyone started where you are.
Yeah.
Every designer, I mean, when you hear their stories, maybe it might help you to like Google some interviews from designers of like, some of them barely had, enough money to keep up every single month. I feel like everyone really starts somewhere.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think we have time for one more question.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Anna. I just want to say thank you for all of you, like such beautiful, like inspiring messages, like throughout. And I think like the friendship thing like really resonated with me, because I think like in the last like year and a half, I've definitely lost like 2 or 3 friends who were like really close to my life. So I really thank you for mentioning that. And I think my main question is, what is like one good advice that you can give like the younger generation? So I guess like women who are like late teenagers or like early 20s, like who lack like self-confidence, or maybe they have confidence, but then it's like we have people in our lives who are like constantly negative, like family members or like friends. Like, what would you say is your like thing that kind of that can help? I guess when I'm saying you, I'm talking about myself, because I sometimes like lack self-confidence, and also I can guess I blame it on social media, like where you see people and like Iskra, like I'll hatch on to like what you say a lot in your posts, because like what you write in your Instagram posts, how sometimes you say like I need to get it, like you don't post sometimes maybe for like a few days, and I really like that, because it's like with so many of these like posts, people are posting like every 5 seconds, and it's just an unrealistic view, because that's not how the average person looks or even feels.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like I answered so much of the other one, but as you've like specifically talked about my Instagram, I would say the number one thing is, in this world of comparison, you have to find the tools that work for you, that get you out of that mindset. It could be detoxing off social media. It could be a hobby, a sport. It could be something. Like, I love the gym because I put my music on. I'm not thinking about anything else except for making myself better. And that isn't a size, that isn't a look. I feel like I'm investing time into looking after myself. And then I also have reminders. You do your gratitude list, and I'll have like a journal or do it in my head and just go over it if I'm frustrated, or if I didn't get an opportunity, or if I'm comparing myself to someone. I, growing up, had an eating disorder and had body dysmorphia, and there is times, it's very rare, but like I even found with my skin recently, that's why I wanted to challenge myself to do a week makeup free. Clearly I'm wearing makeup now. I actually had a whole chin situation where my chin was swollen. It's still kind of swollen, off topic. But I think challenging yourself out of your comfort zone and then having those little wins and those little victories can build your confidence. So the fact that you even put your hand up, to me, that's a very confident thing to do. You've shown up today and you're here. So that's a win. So maybe write that down, start journaling.
A lot of new Aerie friends.
A lot of new friends all here supporting you.
There's a lot of support behind you.
There
You
really
can't see, but
is.
there's a lot of nodding. I feel like there's a lot of love for you.
Spirit fingers all there.
I would say on social media, unfollow anyone that is not inspiring you.
That mute button on Instagram is
mute this. If you can't delete them, just mute them. But just be savage. If it's not uplifting you, inspiring you, then you should be following
Natalie
them.
had like a 10-year-old phone. And so she would actually have to delete people, and she even deleted me before because she didn't even have space in her contacts.
I had like 1 gigabyte.
She had like 1 gigabyte.
No memories. I'm like deleting this number. I'm like, who's texting me?
That's me. I live with you. I'm downstairs. But no, it's. I think that that's really important. I think that social media, if you are on it for numerous hours, and it's unrealistic to say, get rid of it completely. You have to find the way so you control it. It doesn't control you.
Yeah, and as far as people being negative to you, I mean, I deal with that, and I'm sure all of us have dealt with that. I mean, every single day. Like, my inbox is full of people who have negative things to say. I always say this, simply put, hurting people hurt people. And I think, you know, like these girls said, reminding yourself and giving yourself the tools. For me, I have been doing positive affirmations in the mirror, literally yelling them at myself sometimes since I was 16. I learned in therapy. And she said, Hunter, I don't care how bad you feel, I want you to tell yourself that you are enough, you are worthy of being successful, of feeling beautiful, of being in a healthy relationship, of having good friends. You're worthy of all of this, and tell yourself that. And that has gotten me through. I will literally do it while I'm driving, and my husband's like he knows I'll look like in the rear view mirror, or I'll like take down the thing, like just literally looking at yourself in the eyes. It sounds so silly, but it has changed my life.
It does change your synapses in your brain, because if you've experienced bullying or if you've experienced mental health issues, then when you look in the mirror, that will be the voice that comes at you first. And so you need to break that cycle and reinvent the language in which you speak to yourself. So affirmations, post-it notes on your mirror. Even, you know, you can start off super young and do it for your friends. I met a girl once and she said that it was terrifying, actually. She said that her best friend has blocked and deleted everyone in her real life to have a fake life online. And she was 13. And I said, that is absolutely terrifying. I was like, there needs to be a little bit of an intervention. You need to sit down and make sure that she's valuing and putting the worth into her real life and those relationships. So I definitely think it's such a big topic. We could talk all day.
We'll have another real talk about it.
We will.
But for
back.
real, that's not a joke. So that's a really great segue. We actually have something called Aerie Real Life now. We just launched it in April. And it is a space that we are inviting all of our Aerie friends to enjoy these real talks. They're not always in New York. We have them all over the country. But we have been filming them and we've been sharing them on there. So you can see when all of our upcoming events are. You can rewatch these talks. You can watch this talk in probably a month and see yourself and hear your question. And in a month, you guys might feel completely different. You might have a new friend that you've made here tonight. I hope so. Yeah. So we really want to make sure you guys are getting on there. Something else is that if you signed up through the Eventbrite, you will be getting a survey at the end of this week where we're just going to ask you how you found out about it. Did you love this event? What would you do differently? Because we really want to hear so we can keep doing them, making them better. That's really exciting for us. And then something else is you can meet these lovely ladies. They're going to be over in that area. But up here, my friends Steffi and Laura, where are you guys at? There they are. They are some really beautiful artists that I invited here tonight. So we're going to take your picture with your bestie. We have Polaroid frames, and they're actually decorating the Polaroid frames. You get to take it home tonight. And then also, most of the store is 30% off, so definitely shop, guys. We're stores open. We would love you guys to be wearing all of the cute things that you're seeing here tonight. They're all on sale. So thank you guys for coming. There's chips up here because the best chips are friendships. Thank you all for being here with us tonight.
Wow.
I'm